What is going on, everyone? This is the Fantasy Aces podcast. I'm your host, Joe Belacqua, and with me we have Sonny Chowdhury, Mike Handel, and Nate Halloran. It's October 20th, guys. It is the midway season for fantasy football. It's make or break time, basically. You got to finish well if you're playing fantasy football right now. We're getting close to the playoffs, so we got a big episode for you today. We're going to do fantasy takeaways and the waiver wire for Week 7. We're going to be doing buy low, sell high for Week 7, the perfect lineup for Week 7. And if we have enough time to all you viewers out there, we're going to do a live mailbag, so make sure to have your questions listed, all right? So, news around the league. Zach Ertz is going to miss up to 3 to 4 weeks with a foot injury. Big loss for the Eagles. Raheem Mostert is on short-term IR with a severe ankle injury. And Tua will start over Fitz against the Rams, with Fitz winning 2 straight, which I do not understand right now at the moment. I read it on the news, and I still can't comprehend it. But maybe we'll talk about that later in the episode. Atlanta Falcons finally got the first win with Julio giving 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards. So, well, shout out to the Falcons. C-Mac, or Christian McCaffrey, may apparently be back around Week 9, so we got to look at that. And Miles Sanders coming off some knee issues, so he's going to miss some time too. So Zach Ertz gone, Miles Sanders gone. Deshawn Jackson might be missing some time. So Eagles.
Wait, Deshawn Jackson was playing?
Well, I believe that he's still a little bit banged up, so he's just limited. So it's mostly Greg Ward and Travis Fulgham.
So continue to miss time, or did Nate? Did he get in there at some point?
Nah, he was.
He's just limited participation.
For the last 3 weeks, it was. Oh, there's potential for him to play. No, he's still banged up.
So he could continue to miss time.
Yeah.
Yep, he will continue.
And Philip Lindsay may be starting to get more share volume within the Broncos running game. So watch out for that if you're a Melvin Gordon
Who said that?
Fantasy owner.
Is that like a report?
Yeah, I believe I saw that report that just from his production from last game that he might be getting more share volume with Melvin Gordon. You know, he's slowly progressing back, so we'll see. Right now, I still think it's going to be a duo running back tandem, but we'll see what happens going forward.
I mean, we still don't know with the DUI if there's going to be suspension or not, so we're still waiting on that news too.
Exactly. That's why I saw some people saying that, you know, you might want to start Lindsay because he might be getting some more shares. All right, guys, your reactions from Week 6. How did you guys take that Texans-Titans game? I mean, that was one heck of a game. Sonny, how did you feel about that game?
I mean, that was easily the game of the weekend. I mean, what a shootout. But I would say, you know, like the biggest thing is like if you start someone minus Johnny Smith, you know, congratulations because you probably scored a lot of points in your league. And, you know, maybe you won your week that week.
Yeah, no, that was – I still couldn't believe it after I saw that run by Derrick Henry. And then like 2 seconds later, that just deep pass to I believe it was Will Fuller or was it Brandon Cook?
Will Fuller, yeah.
Yeah, it was Will Fuller. It's just like it kept going back and forth. That awesome penalty that Mike Vrabel did on purpose to get extra time for the guys to go down the field. That was one heck of a game. Mike, what was your favorite game besides that game from Week 6?
Ooh, besides that game, I feel like Denver beating New England, that happened, right?
Yeah,
not that I'm like that big of a fan of Denver, but they're not really a threat to the Raiders. So it's fun to see another AFC team, you know, get beaten down that's going to compete with the other wildcard teams for that spot. And so, yeah, New England beat the Raiders, so getting them taken down, that's good. That's good for us.
That was a good game. Nate, what were your reactions from Week 6? Any good games that you really loved watching?
Yeah, I like the Bucks and the Packers. That was
good.
Great.
That
was really good.
I wouldn't say that was a good game for competitiveness, but yeah, no, that was a shot.
No, not competitive, but I think it showed who was the better quarterback.
I
like it. I mean, we can't really say. Well, I mean, one guy has 6 rings, one guy has 1. You know, people might say stats. Aaron Rodgers. Well, look who Tom Brady has. Well, it was back and forth. There was all this talk. Well, Green Bay's the best team, you know, one of the top teams in the league, and Tom Brady's starting off slow, and here come the Bucks and blew them out. So Tom Brady really put those critics to sleep, didn't they?
So was just getting
that one's like you could write a paper on momentum with that game.
Oh, you absolutely
yeah.
can.
Green Bay,
yeah.
scoring. We're gonna win, and then Tampa Bay pick 6, and the game never turned around.
Right, and Green Bay was hyped. Like you got a lot of
Yeah.
people riding the Buccaneers' wave, but also Green Bay is, they were flaming teams after teams, and then they come into, against Tom Brady and the Bucks, and Tom Brady's like, just relax.
Raymond James, they come into the
we gotta-
Raymond James.
Yeah, we got to remember that Green Bay hasn't faced a tough defense until then. So, who knows if they're legit or not. I mean,
Wow, way to
they've had-
hurt my Falcons. All right.
hey, you know better than most. I mean, you know better than most.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And what about Ronald Jones and Gronk? That offense was alive. Ronald Jones
Man, it's crazy.
is doing an excellent job right now on the Bucks. An excellent job. Like he's doing really well. And
Super
Gronk is picking
consistent.
up.
Excellent. I mean, I would say he's fine.
We're doing excellent for how we rated him in the beginning of this show when we started the season.
That is
That's
true.
the
A lot of people
comparison.
did not
We're all
take.
like, this guy's gonna get nothing. Like I'm too scared to have him,
I
and that's
would
the reason
say
Nate won his game.
overperforming. I wouldn't say excellent.
All right,
He's,
all right.
you know what, I would have to say though, Ronald Jones, because I have him and I was confident, and then they took in Leonard Fournette. I'm like, great, now he's gonna get less carries because of all these other running backs. No, the dude's been consistent through week and week.
He's a better player than he was last year. He looks bigger and just more of an NFL player than he has been.
He looks more like I want to say power back.
Well, that's what. Yeah, I mean,
through.
I think he wasn't drafted as that, but
he wasn't.
Become it.
Yeah, you watch those games, those defensive linemen, like, dude, he lowers that shoulder and he goes for an extra plus 5 yards. It is. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but the thing that I worry about the most is like Tom Brady's always had a reliable pass catching running back. And I mean, we've seen Ronald Jones drop the ball like multiple times. I mean, I'm just worried about that. I think he's a great runner, but I think Brady would really like to have someone he could throw to. So that's what I'm worried about.
The guy went to USC. He should be able to catch passes. Isn't that what running backs do there?
I'm surprised they're just not giving it to McCoy as much as I thought they would. But Ronald Jones had like
when McCoy dropped that wide open touchdown pass that 1 week, Tom Brady was like, "Yo,
he's had multiple games with 100 scrimmage yards." Ronald Jones, so he's doing an excellent job. Yeah. All right, guys, let's get into some fantasy takeaways and waiver wire for Week 7. All right, we're gonna start with Sonny. Sonny, what position are you covering for the waiver wire?
I'll be talking about running backs, and we already talked about the injuries, to Miles Sanders, and then we don't know about Joe Mixon's status, and then we got some bye weeks coming up. But first off, I mean, just for everyone, if Justin Jackson's available, he'd be number 1, but I think he's too widely owned. But I just want to throw it out there. But again, going back to the Miles Sanders thing, I think Boston Scott is someone that you should be looking at. And I know he had that early start in Week 1. He didn't produce, but I mean, he did leave early. And if you guys remember back to last year, in the 2 games that he played against the Giants, he had 266 yards and 4 touchdowns, like combined in both games. Mm-hmm. Primetime matchup, gets the workload. I think he'll do well for primetime. Giovanni Bernard, we don't know about Joe Mixon's status. I would actually put him above Boston Scott, but I really think Mixon will be fine because I think he's a warrior. But yeah, so right now Boston Scott, and then J.D. McKissick. I mean, I was down on him, but I'd actually be really worried as an Antonio Gibson owner because in the last 3 games he's had 6 catches for over 40 yards, and he actually outplayed and outsnapped Gibson last week. So that's someone to keep an eye on. And then another guy that you can look at is Jamal Williams. So, I mean, we talked about the Titans-Texans game. Derrick Henry ran all over them, had over like 266 yards. So I think Aaron Jones going to have a big day, and I think Jamal Williams could see enough touches to get some value.
All right, sounds good. And maybe in deeper leagues, I have to ask you a question. I'm going to talk about this later in the episode. What do you feel about Zach Moss for the Bills going on further? Because he got more shares with the Chiefs than I thought he would, and it looks like he's going to have a bigger presence.
So Zach Moss is actually a huge reason I was not drafting Devin Singletary at all at the beginning of the season because I was super high on Zach Moss. And I think he's been disappointing mainly because he's been hurt. But, I mean, Devin Singletary hasn't done anything to keep the job. So I would actually really, really be intrigued by Zach Moss. And, if you don't need a running back right now, I would take him over Jamal Williams because he could be a league winner for all we know. So he's like a nice guy to stash on your bench. So I would definitely be looking to grab him if he's available.
That's a good point. I like it. I'm writing that down.
It's a very good point. And I got one more question for you. DeAndre Swift's performance, fluke or will it continue?
Ooh.
I mean, I think that was a ceiling game. I think he'll definitely be relevant for fantasy, but I think that you could definitely find someone that thinks like this is what you could expect, like 20 plus points every week. There's always people out there that just see the next big thing and they want it. So like, I think he'll be good, but I mean, I don't know how reliable he'll be. Maybe like a flex at best, low on RB2.
That's true. He could be a sell high because I still think it's going to be Adrian Peterson with more of the carries. But maybe he can be utilized in the passing game more. So we'll see how that's going to go. All right, Nate, you're up. I believe you're doing cornerbacks.
Yes.
Take a hit on it.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the guy that is, in Mike's eyes, one of the best in the league. I'm doing Derek Carr. I'm doing Derek Carr. So I was looking at Derek Carr a little more, and he's owned in 23% of leagues. 23. And the guy's put up some numbers. Don't forget about the Chiefs game. He's performing at like quarterback one levels, and I know like everyone's like, oh, consistency is a problem, but he's doing pretty good despite the 3-2 record. He's completed 73% of his passes for 1,442 yards, 11 touchdowns, and only one interception in 5 games. So that's pretty good for Carr. For somebody who's not consistent. And he's top 5 quarterback rating. That's pretty good too. If you need a quarterback and yours isn't playing up to snuff, Derek Carr's still available. He's only owned in 23% of leagues, like I said. And he's only trailing, if I'm not mistaken, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Jimmy Garoppolo for a quarterback rating. So that's somebody you should keep an eye out on.
I'm sorry, is Jimmy G up there in QBR?
Yes, he is. He is. Jimmy G is up there in QBR.
I'm fascinated by that. Absolutely fascinated.
I had to go over and just make sure that was a realistic thing. I was like, wait, did this guy just get benched by Ryan Fitzpatrick? And I was like, okay, so he's still up there in QBR. So I'm going to move on to an older quarterback, a veteran, Philip Rivers. Sorry. Two different Phillips right now. Philip Rivers. So if you guys watched the Colts and Bengals game, that was a shootout. That was like in the beginning, it was like all Bengals. And they're up by like 16 points. And I think when the guy on Red Zone, I'm mistaken, they read almost every single game this season, at least one, a team has trailed by 16 points and has came back to win. Mm-hmm. And Philip Rivers did that. He made that stat happen again, which is insane. He's only owned in 13% of leagues, so he's much available. The 31-27 win over the Bengals, which, again, the Bengals have some issues on their own end. But, for an older guy that people are like, why would I take Philip Rivers on this? That's a pretty good reason. The Colts aren't too bad of a team this year.
That is true. But you know what I say every week when I watch them? I say it out loud. The Colts are sketchy. Yeah. I'd say it every single week. They are just sketchy for some reason. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's Philip Rivers or maybe it's just the way they're playing their offense, but they're just sketchy to me for some reason.
There's definitely an imposter.
But, those are some great waiver wire picks for, quarterback. Do you have any others before we go to Mike?
Yeah, I got one more. And I know some fantasy owners are not going to be happy because of his interceptions have been absolutely buns this year. But Kirk Cousins, he can throw the football, he can get you touchdowns, he can get you yards, but his interception issue is a problem. Mm-hmm. So as soon as you're gaining those points, they're dropping. And I believe he is owned. Okay, he's owned in 32% of the league, so a little more than Philip Rivers and Derek Carr. Well, so I mean, which is insane for But if you need Kirk Cousins, I think he's more of a desperate pickup if you need a quarterback. But like Philip Rivers and Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I would say, is number one.
I'd put Derek Carr.
Definitely Derek Carr, Philip Rivers, and Kirk Cousins. I would put in order if I had to choose.
I agree with you.
What about Justin Herbert if he's available? Where would you guys? Because he'd be at the top of my list. Right
I'm starting him this week over.
Wow.
Yeah, over Teddy Bridgewater and Tom Brady. I'm starting him.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I'm starting him over Tannehill too in one of my leagues, and I love Tannehill. I just want to touch up on that real quick because I think Tannehill is a weekly starter, and I think Justin Herbert's matchup is too good. But he's also someone, if you lost Dak, I think he's a great long-term quarterback too.
Yeah, I would agree with
Justin
that.
Herbert is just so impressive.
I don't get it. I don't
That
get
kid,
it.
I like if you looked at this and you're like, great, this kid gets thrown into a position, is Tyrod Taylor's out. Justin Herbert comes in, you're like, well, he has to play the Chiefs and the Bucks. Like, what's gonna happen? What? The dude's throwing the ball 60, 50 yards down the field, catching it, winning game. It's just insane. Or he's losing them. It's by like stupid decisions or dumb plays or whatnot, and it's insane. The dude is competing against top 5 quarterbacks past 3 weeks, and he's been unbelievable.
All right, Mike, list us your tight ends that we should be picking up on the waiver wire.
All right, well, first I'm going to list ones that you should avoid here, and that's the Colts ones. I don't trust Mo Alley Cox, Jack Doyle, or Trey Burton. I think they're like Patriots running backs now. One of them is going to be doing well at any given time. Right now, it's Trey Burton. It could be Mo Alley Cox. It could be Jack Doyle. So I'd avoid any of them. Each of them is owned in around 9% at the 9% mark, which is pretty telling. So I'm avoiding them. Fursker had like the best week for tight ends because he's replacing John U. Smith, but John U. Smith isn't really hurt that bad, and he's a really good player, and they really like him, and Tannehill connection. So I see that as fool's gold. If you have some kind of hunch that John U. is going to be out for a while, maybe pick him up. But I think the Fursker thing is stay away from here. The guys that I am suggesting who are owned in less than 50% of leagues, Irv Smith on the Vikings.
Yeah.
6% of leagues. I would target him if you're in a league where you really need one. He looks a lot younger and faster and stronger than Kyle Rudolph right now. They're going to try and get him involved. They need to do something this season. So they're not going to the playoffs. So they need to decide, okay, what do we have here in Irv Smith? And that's what I think a lot of the rest of the season will be about. And then Darren Fells, I like him. I know they have Aiken, right?
Yeah.
But in Houston, but I mean, Fells is 34. You don't have a 34-year-old tight end on your team to just kind of like sit around, especially when he's producing like that. So I would say Irv Smith 1, Darren Fells 2.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think Darren Fells is quite the red zone target for the Houston Texans. So, yeah, I actually have him right now on the waiver wire. So I agree with that one. Yeah, no, that's a good one.
What about Dallas Goddard? He's supposed to be activated off IR. I would put him at number 1 if I could get him because, he looked better than Ertz when he was playing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is he back though? Like, are they going to just be like, here you go?
He could be activated. Yeah, he could be activated this week, but he's probably not going to play this week. But I mean, Irv Smith's on a bye this week too, so you couldn't play him. But I mean, if I wanted tight end, I think he has the most upside, and I mean, he could be a top 5 tight end. So
if we can stay healthy, we're made of glass pane.
All right, I'm gonna go with the wide receiver waiver wires for week 7. Travis Fulgham, as Jerome would say, Travis Fulgham, this is real. He is still available in 69% of leagues. He has a 70% share in snaps on the field, and he also has a 25% target share. And, with Ertz and Sanders gone this week, I think he's going to be a good replacement that you can have as a wide receiver. I'm surprised that he's still not in that many leagues because he's kind of been up there on the waiver wire for the past 2 weeks. You'd think he'd be in more leagues. But my second guy is going to be Tim Patrick on the Denver Broncos. He's only rostered in 19% of leagues. He had 4 receptions for 101 yards in a low-scoring affair. So, with a low-scoring game, I want to see what he can do in more of a high-scoring pace game. With Drew Lock being back, I see his target ratio going completely up, and I think he'll fare pretty well in the PPR league as well. And those are my wide receiver waiver wires. I do have an extra one, but he's kind of more in like deeper leagues if you look at it. Like it may be in a 14-team league, is Russell Gage. He's only rostered in 27% of the leagues. I favor him more in PPR 14-team leagues because he's progressing a little bit more, but with Raheem Morris wants him to be in the offense a little bit more, and we don't know with Julio if he's going to be playing consistently every single week with his hamstring injury. He might, opt out a half just because his hamstring's hurting. So I'm going to go with Russell Gage. I really think that he can do well in PPR leagues, especially. So those are my 3 wide receiver waiver wires for week 7. Do you guys have any other waiver wires before we head to buy low, sell high?
Well, with the receivers, I was going to say, if Mike Williams, if he's there, I would put him at number 1, actually. And I would actually have T. Higgins up there, too, as my second guy, because I think they're both just, emerging. I think Mike Williams' connection with Herbert's getting stronger, and T. Higgins looks like he's getting a bigger role every week, and he could be the leading option in Cincinnati. So, those are 2 guys.
In all of my leagues that I'm playing, those guys are already on a team. I feel like a lot of people are actually very confident in T. Higgins. I couldn't find him in the waiver wires on my own leagues, but
yeah, he's been owned in 58% of leagues on ESPN.
Oh, okay, so yeah, he's pretty high target. I was gonna say. All right, guys, buy low, sell high. We're gonna start with Mike. Mike, give us a person that you either buy low or sell high, or you wouldn't buy low or sell high.
All right, I got 2. The first one is gonna shock you.
Okay.
Maybe not. Justin Jefferson. He's blown up. He's doing great. I just, if that continues, I'll be really surprised. The Vikings seem like they are a dumpster fire right now. I mean, 39 points last week. That's nuts. If someone believes in him and is willing to give you, if you can fleece them for 2 starters or something, I would move towards pushing that away. All right, I can see why you'd say that, because this guy had one of the best NCAA championship games, for LSU of all time. He looked like a friggin' Hall of Famer. But I'm still, if you can get a lot from him, if someone's like, oh, I need an amazing receiver, I'd sell him. And then I'm buying low on Juju Smith-Schuster. He's had 2 and 6 points in the last couple of weeks. I think that will change. I think that that he's going to come back with a vengeance later in the year when games get important. I know they've got other weapons, but Juju still counts, man. He's a good player.
He is a very good player. How do you feel with that though, with the target share? Because right now it's Chase Claypool and James Washington had a big.
Well, that's
game.
what I'm saying. Buy low, man. I'm not saying buy medium. I'm saying buy low if you can. If you can, I'm not trading away any of my starters, but if someone, if you can get a deal from someone or just take advantage of a friend. Try and get Juju under the radar, and if it doesn't work out, you didn't.
He's hinting at screwing somebody over.
Like the name of the segment was, you bought low.
That's true. All right, Sonny. Who are your guys that you would buy low or sell high?
Well, ironically, my buy low would actually be Deontay Johnson.
Wow.
I still think, every game he's played, he's been the leading receiver in targets. I still think he's the number 1 option in the offense. And I think when he comes back, I think him and Chase Claypool will be the only 2 receivers that you can rely on. So I'm all out on Juju. It's someone that I've avoided all season. Glad I don't have him, and I'd be worried if I was the Juju owner. So, if I had Juju, Mike, I would gladly give him to you for
very low.
Virtually nothing. Yeah, pretty much. And I am worried about him. But
you think you're buying low on him? Who's going to give him up for low?
Oh, I think a ton of people would, because if you look at it,
he hasn't done much. Yeah,
he had a bye week, and then he left 2 games where he got 1 point in 2 games in a bye week.
But I also agree with the comments that were just listed below. He's had some injuries that I start him, and then he just instantly, it's concussion protocol, and he gets me 4 or 5 points.
Yeah,
I'm not going to have that as a wide receiver on my team.
Yeah, I had him starting. Gave me 0.8 points.
And that's the thing. I actually have Deontay too, and that's the owners you got to target, because there's a lot of people upset because he's costing them games. But it's if you look at the injuries, they're all separate injuries, so it's not an ongoing issue. So you can't directly correlate the injuries. And I think they were more of a freak thing that we can't count on every week. And you know, someone that Roethlisberger talked about a lot in the offseason. And if you watch him play, like he just looks good. Like I think he is the best receiver on that team. And I think if I were to rank him, it would be Deontay, Claypool, and then Juju can ride my bench because I'm not playing him. And then, yeah, I mean, I just think he's going to be a target monster. And you know, he's already shown to produce.
Bet. Are you willing to do a bet with me?
Oh, do a bet, please.
For sure.
Dude, I'm going Juju over Deontay Johnson for the rest of the season.
Like points at the end of the year?
Yes.
Who ranks higher? Okay.
Yes.
So who ranks more fantasy points, right?
At the end of the year.
All right, we'll do that bet.
Note that, Nate. You're writing it down.
Nate, yeah, you're in
Dude,
charge.
it's already in my head. Like Juju or Deontay.
Wait, but I didn't get verbal agreement from Sonny.
Oh no, I'm all in. I'm
Okay,
surprised.
all right.
I'm all in.
That'll be good. That'll be intense. I'll be watching that more than
Juju
you guys.
over Deontay. We got some stakes.
I dropped Deontay. I dropped him.
Wow. See, I would be spending. If it was a fab, you know, I'd be spending like a hefty amount of fab, like close to all of it, to get Deontay. Because that's how high I am.
Wow.
But yeah. And then Joe, I'm sorry to say it, but my sell high is Julio Jones.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
That's why
that's a good one. No, that's a good one.
I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, this is probably like the ceiling performance he's gonna have all season. He's been constantly banged up, you know, the whole year. He's been, and then you start him because it's Julio Jones and he leaves early, and then you get nothing for it. And then going back a few years ago, he had like 253 yards one game, and then the next week he had 24 yards. So he's been, you know, really inconsistent, and he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. And I think you can get like a steal for Julio, you know. So
that's because of his quarterback.
Yeah.
That's because of Matt Ryan.
All right, hey.
Whatever, he could be the Eagles quarterback next year.
True.
Yeah,
he
could be playing in the number 3 spot.
ESPN right now, there's so many reports of like Falcons might sell Jones and Matt Ryan. I'm like, my team is about to change in like the next upcoming months.
Okay, I just want any Eagles fan, if they do believe, because we're so injured, we're not getting Julio Jones. We're not getting him.
Okay, all right.
We are. Yeah. I've seen so many comments of people like, we can do this. I'm like, we have no one to sell.
I want to see Justin Fields on the Falcons. I think that would be awesome.
I want another Michael Vick. That's kind of what I'm hoping.
That would be nice. That's what the league's changing into.
He's going to be, I don't know, I'm not going to say better than Michael Vick, but a way better passer than Michael Vick.
Yeah, no, I can see that. All right, Nate, I'm going to get to mine before we get to yours.
Of course.
And you offered me this trade, and I laughed. I laughed on my phone. You said, Joe, I'll give you Singletary. And to all those viewers out there, do not buy low on Singletary, all right? When I was watching against the Chiefs, Josh Allen takes all his rushing attempts away, especially in the end zone, and then Zach Moss has been getting like half of the drives and the carries. He's a guy that I would especially stay away from. So do not buy low on Singletary. And then my sell high is going to be actually TJ Hawkinson on the Lions. Recently, he had 2 touchdowns in his past 2 games, but if you look at his stats, that's only 4 receptions for 26 yards. I really don't see any share volume be added to this team with him. And I also think that the Lions found a new thing. Hey, why don't we use both our running backs with Swift and Adrian Peterson? I think that's probably going to be a majority of the offense going forward. So I would sell high on TJ Hawkinson. I just don't see that progressing any further.
Oh, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake has been awful all year, and then last game he puts up 37 points. What do you guys think of Kenyon? Like, are you selling him high? Are you keeping on to him? Are you trying to ride it?
He played against a team that lets he played against a defense. I'm sorry that.
So then you would sell him high,
teams.
like if
I
someone's
would sell
interested.
him. Yeah, I would sell him high.
I wonder if I can sell him.
You probably could. You could probably get a bargain for him. I'm
in the ITH league. I'm gonna try and see who I can fleece.
I would ride one more week with him.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Like
they played the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh yeah, he's your boy.
Well, I mean, I was all in. I mean, I said like I was open to whatever, but just like what could you get for him? Because even before like last weekend, it worked out for me. I was thinking like James Robinson or Kenyon Drake. Like right now, I would rather have Kenyon Drake, but it's like, I mean, just
close. Yeah,
it's close. I was gonna say yeah, and I'm glad I didn't like propose it because I was actually thinking about it before the weekend, and then I was like, you know what? Like I'm just gonna hold on to Kenyon Drake, and now it's like I'm worried about James Robinson. We're talking about Devin Singletary. We saw Miles Sanders get hurt. So I just think it's like having a running back that's gonna get touches every week. It's just like it's nice to have without like the guys that I named. Like I'm taking Kenyon Drake over any of them. So I don't know. I just think it's pretty valuable to have, and it's just nice.
All right, Nate, list me a buy low, sell high that you want to bring out.
All right, so I'm going to do a sell high. And he plays for the Giants, Darius Slayton.
Oh.
Darius Slayton. I that guy, okay.
I'll take him.
he has put up at least consistent numbers for the Giants, who are 1-5. He would, in my opinion, and a lot of people say they would take him, he would be a perfect flex spot. If you need a flex, if you need somebody, I would sell him, and you can get pieces for it. You can get solid pieces for Darius Slayton to make a good offer. I'm not saying, maybe one or like two starters, maybe one out of them. A lot of people look at the team he plays for. So I'm going to sell high on Darius Slayton.
What about Fulgham or Slayton? Who'd you take?
I take Fulgham. I love Fulgham.
I like the. Well, I was gonna say I think it's a great call because you got to remember that Sterling Shepard is going to be coming back too. So what's that going to do for him? So I like.
Who knows? I mean, it's Daniel Jones at quarterback. Daniel Jones
exactly.
or Carson Wentz. So
no, I'm all in, Nate. I think it's a great sell high.
Yeah, I mean, Derek. Don't get me wrong though. I don't like the Giants, but Darius Slayton has been doing pretty well for a team that has been struggling. So, but for my buy low, the same person I requested the trade for, it's gonna be Kareem Hunt. He had a disappointing week 6, but that makes him vulnerable, and he's put up numbers. So I expect Kareem Hunt to get back into the rhythm.
Take him from my team. I'm not getting Singletary. You offer me another running back.
I would look at what I have for you.
All right.
I don't have much. A lot of my players are slowly diminishing from injuries. If you're like me and you have a very injured team and people are willing to sell Kareem Hunt because, fantasy owners have been iffy about him, especially with Nick Chubb. But now that he's hurt, he's going to get more touches when he comes back. I would pick up Kareem Hunt. I think he's a good buy low.
All right.
Sell a certain piece. Don't sell anything too precious. He's not worth a ton, but he's definitely a buy low.
He is worth absolutely everything. I would give up so much for Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Mike. What do you guys think of Corey Davis? I picked him up on the waiver wire, and he's rostered in 37% of leagues, and he's coming back, and he put up decent numbers the first 2 games. What do you see out of him with the Titans? Right? Is it the Titans?
Yeah.
I like it because I think the Titans defense is so bad that they're actually going to be throwing the ball a decent amount. And this is a first round pick at the end of the day. He's talented. He's done well. I think he could be a reliable option. So yeah, I do actually like that pickup.
Yeah, I'd scan if you could. That might be a sneaky pickup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with you guys. All right, guys, we actually have some mailbag questions, so we're going to be doing our perfect lineups pretty quick right here. I'll start it off for week 7. My quarterback, I'm doing this based off matchups. Teddy Bridgewater, he's going against the Saints, who rank 30th against opposing quarterbacks. For a running back, I'm going Todd Gurley, affordable option. He's cheap, and he's going against the Detroit defense that ranks 29th against running backs. Kenny Galladay, he's going against the Atlanta Falcons secondary. That's all I have to say for that. And Hunter Henry, I'm going to go with. He's going up against the Jags, who rank 22nd in defending tight end. So I think that could be a good option, especially with Herbert. I think they're going to connect this week. And I'm sorry, Nate, but I'm going Giants defense. The past 2 weeks, they had 11 points and 14 points. I think it's going to be a stalemate this game on Thursday night. So I'm going to go with the Giants defense. And we'll give it to Nate for perfect lineup week 7.
Perfect lineup. So I'm actually going to start off, if you don't mind, at wide receiver. I think it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins against Seattle. I think that's going to be a huge one. I know someone's like, it's DeAndre Hopkins. Why not? He actually struggled against the Cowboys. He did. He hasn't had less than 2 or fewer catches, and he was stymied the entire night against the Cowboys. He was struggling to get to. before, obviously went crazy at the end of the game. And then for my tight end, I took a look at this and I was like, should I? I should. And I'm going to go with Austin Hooper for the Browns. I said Austin Hooper, he's going to go against the Bengals. And, the Bengals have struggled, on defense. They're just a struggling team in general. Talented, young and talented, and, they have a bright future. But Austin Hooper, I'm confident in him. Njoku wants to yeah, we did actually see that. That was actually pretty good. Njoku requested a trade, right? Another one? That was a news during the week. So, I mean, who knows? I'm thinking Austin Hooper for tight end. Then I'm going to go move to defense real quick. I'm going to do Buffalo Bills. I mean, who do they play?
But yeah, the Jets.
The Jets, right?
That's what I'm thinking too.
I think any team that
Like,
plays
the Jets right now.
put them in.
Yep,
It doesn't matter.
absolutely, 100%.
Just the Jets. It's the Jets. No explanation there. For running back, confident in him. He did really good out of nowhere. I'm sorry, Mike. I was high on Adrian Peterson, but it looks like it's DeAndre Swift, and they're going to give him the ball more. I think they're going to share it. I do, but I think they want the younger back to get in there a little more. Get them
I would
points
pick
up.
him for this though.
Really?
Yeah,
Perfect
I mean,
line.
if you have a random running backs, but like if you have all of these options, I'm not picking Swift.
Well, yeah. If you have a list of options and it's like DeAndre Swift or
like
Derrick
he's
Henry,
probably worth very little on your DraftKings thing, right? I don't play this. I'm like the old curmudgeon.
not a whole bunch.
Yeah, he's
Not a
going
whole
low
lot.
value target. So did I, just in case you're going to pick those perfect guys. But if you want a low value target to fit that cap space, then these are guys that we're picking.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that is true. So I was like quarterback. Now this is another guy you're probably like why? He's going against the Chargers.
Derek Carr,
Gardner. No, not Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr though. I'm going to go with Gardner Minshew.
Okay.
What did you look at my lineup? You're stealing all my picks.
Did I really?
Gardner Minshew. I'm just going to mention the guys that you didn't when it comes to my turn.
That's fine. It's probably like one guy. But no, Gardner Minshew, I know he plays against the Chargers. You have a good defense, but Gardner Minshew's been very consistent this season. Even struggling with not top talent. DJ Chark, he's had, his Jane Robinson. I mean, the guy's just been really good, like consistent throughout the season. So put him in. Feel confident in him. They may not win, but each should be pretty damn good.
All right, Sonny, give your perfect lineup for week 7.
All right, well, for quarterbacks, actually, Ben Roethlisberger. And, I know he had a bad fantasy game, but they were just blowing out Cleveland, didn't need to throw the ball. But, against the Titans, they've allowed multiple touchdowns to quarterback every week since week 1. Deshaun Watson torched him for 335 yards and 4 touchdowns. So, I see a shootout. I see Big Ben throwing a lot with Deontay coming back, Chase Claypool, and, if Juju decides to show up, he's got some weapons. But running back David Johnson. So the Packers have been terrible against running backs. They've given up over 50 yards and 2 touchdowns in 4 or 5 games. You saw Ronald Jones go off against them. And I think David Johnson's due for a big game. And he's been pretty consistent, but he hasn't had that big game since week 1. For wide receivers, Tyler Lockett, another big buy low guy. He's had 2 disappointing weeks, and he's coming off the bye. And I don't know if you guys remember, but last year when they played against Arizona, DK Metcalf was actually shut out in that game by Patrick Peterson. He had no catches. And in the first time they played each other, he had 1 catch for 6 yards. So I think throughout the whole week, it'll be like a, switch on who does better between Lockett and DK Metcalf. And I think Lockett's due for a big game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring matchup with Seattle and Arizona, and I think Lockett's going to be amazing. And then for tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, he's been reliable only because he's been scoring touchdowns. But, it's the Falcons, and they give up touchdowns to everyone. So they've actually allowed 7 touchdowns to tight ends this year. And TJ Hawkinson leads his team in receiving touchdowns. So, there's a good chance that he does it again. And at this point, that's all you need from a tight end. And then, defense, Nate, I got to go with the Buffalo Bills, too, because if you're playing the Jets, a cheat code. You're going to score fantasy points because the Jets can't do anything on offense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, what is your week 7 lineup?
I'll run Gardner Minshew. He's averaging 24 points a game. in fantasy, which is outstanding. And the Chargers have given up in the last 2 weeks an average of 30 a game. So, yeah, that one. James Conner, I like a lot going against the Titans defense, which is fine, but he's on a roll. And I think he's going to keep it going, especially with the wide receivers looking great, Ben Roethlisberger looking great. He's going to have the room up the middle. Hunter Henry, same as you guys. Bills defense, same as you guys. And then wide receiver, check out Robbie Anderson. I know you said Teddy Bridgewater. I love me some Robbie Anderson. Previously stated and bets won Robbie Anderson.
We're still going.
He's absolutely, I would have to say, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league right now.
He was the free agent prize of this last offseason.
Yeah,
it was Robbie
I don't
Anderson.
think people understand how much of an impact he has actually made in Carolina. Like everyone was like, "Oh, he was on the Jets." Like who cares? They have other stars. They have Le'Veon Bell's, and they're like, he's super. Like, what can this guy do? He's fast. He can catch. He's tall. Like, dude's everything. And Teddy Bridgewater loves him. So I thought was.
But he did have. I mean, it was against the Bears defense, but he didn't have the best week on my team this prior week. But I think it's going to be a huge bounce back against the Saints. So I agree with that one. All right, guys, it's mailbag time. I believe we got a couple questions that people are asking us for. You know, it's mid-season. We're ready for this. Should I sell Mike Davis? I think we could all say this at once, maybe.
Last week. It could be the last week that Christian McCaffrey doesn't play. I mean, we just got the notification that he's not playing this week. So as soon as you can, get rid of him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if someone is dumb enough to, like, pony up, I mean, I'd love to play him this week, but
I mean, that's the other thing, though. If you're selling him, like, you got to get some value out of him. Don't sell him for nothing because, you know, he's been reliable. So, you know, you got to get someone that you could start, like, comfortably.
Well, they want Christian McCaffrey to be 100%.
No disrespect to this guy, though, because I think he's going to be a big contract running back eventually.
He can. Teams are going to be looking at him. They're going to be like, he's definitely a solid. He could be your number one option.
How many teams has he been on?
I know Seattle. I know he's been in Seattle, Chicago.
Like 3, right? Like 3.
Yeah. So he finally just blossomed with his opportunity right now. The Panthers. Wow, that's actually crazy.
How old is Mike Davis?
I really thought he was a younger guy. I apologize. I thought he was,
he's been
pretty
around.
young.
He's like what? Almost. He's like 28.
For 4th or 5th year in the league, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh. All right. Well, we all basically collectively say that you should definitely get rid of him. Need to start 2: Claypool, Judy, Mike Williams, and AJ Green full PPR. So, what 2 wide receivers would you guys start, and what 2 would you bench? We'll start with
not playing AJ Green.
Yeah, I'm not playing AJ Green. Mike Williams, Jerry Judy. I like Jerry Judy.
In my opinion, I'm going Claypool and Williams. In my opinion,
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go Claypool and Williams as well.
Yeah, I think we're all consensus.
Yeah, AJ Green just not the best year.
It's just I don't think. I don't think
look good though. Did look good.
And Jerry, don't think he'll be drafted next year. Like in most of the leagues at all. Like the dude is just I don't want to be that guy, but he's washed.
Oh,
he's washed. I don't want to be that guy, but he's kind of washed. And I don't think he'd make a huge impact on really any team he'd go on if he were to be traded. So
yeah, I definitely agree.
Sorry, AJ Green. I loved you, but it's time.
Full consensus, the hot hand of Claypool, and then we got Mike Williams. Who knows? Maybe Herbert will connect with him this week. But, those are our mailbag questions. We appreciate to our viewers for giving those out to us so we can reply to you guys. That is it for our show. We will see you again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Make sure to listen to us on YouTube and to listen to us on Facebook Live. Also visit our website, InsideTheHashes.com, and follow our Twitter handle at InsideTheHashes. And also check out our website and check out Air It Out and our RPO podcast. And that is all that we have for you today. Enjoy the Eagles versus the Giants Thursday night, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys next week.
America's Game of the Week.
Bye.
Peace.